Ukraine Peace Talks 2025.
Maxim Skripchenko, president of the Transatlantic Dialogue Center, warns Western policymakers to consider the outcome of the Minsk agreements when discussing peace. Settlements that ignore Ukraine's security realities only freeze the conflict, allowing Russia to regroup and prepare for further aggression.
There are rising fears that the new U.S. administration is laying the groundwork for broader concessions to achieve de-escalation with Russia.
These direct negotiations occurred without Ukraine at the table.
For Ukraine, the key issue is not whether diplomacy should be pursued,
but what terms those negotiations involve, risking a settlement that temporarily freezes the war rather than putting an end to it. This process resulted in a 28-point peace plan.
Western diplomats described Witkoff as unprofessional,
noting his team lacked Russia experts and relied on Kremlin interpreters during meetings with Putin. The new plan preserves Russia's major demands from the April 2022 Istanbul framework, including Ukrainian neutrality, renunciation of NATO accession, and a ban on foreign military bases. Crucially, the plan legitimizes all of Russia's territorial seizures. The plan recognizes Crimea, the entire Luhansk region, and the entire Donetsk region as de facto Russian territories. Ukrainian forces must leave the part of Donetsk they control, and this area becomes an internationally recognized Russian demilitarized buffer zone.
The plan offers Russia significant economic benefits, including the gradual lifting of all sanctions and Russia's return to the G8.
Point 10 grants Ukraine U.S. security guarantees, but these require compensation from Kyiv. The guarantees come with numerous caveats and are conditional. They are automatically cancelled if Ukraine attacks Russia, or if a Ukrainian missile strikes Moscow or St. Petersburg. Text: the U.S. administration wants Zelensky to sign a deal by Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 27, presenting the plan as an ultimatum: sign it or lose U.S. support. Trump stated that the U.S. will soon impose powerful sanctions on Russia. Zelensky acknowledges that his country faces a profound choice between losing our dignity or the risk of losing a key partner.
Polls conducted in Ukraine show that only 27% of respondents support considering territorial concessions.
A clear majority of Ukrainians reject giving up any land as part of a peace agreement. Meanwhile, Trump criticizes the Ukrainian government on social media, saying Ukraine leadership has expressed zero gratitude for our efforts. Secretary Rubio first told a bipartisan delegation that the 28-point plan was a Russian proposal and did not represent the Trump administration's position. Later the same day, Rubio reversed course, stating the peace proposal was authored by the U.S., offering it as a framework for ongoing negotiations. The European counter-proposal suggests negotiations over territory should take place after a ceasefire and start from the existing front line. Unlike the U.S. draft, the European alternative does not call for Ukraine to withdraw from cities it controls in eastern Donbass, nor does it rule out NATO membership.
European officials argued the U.S. draft undermines Ukraine's sovereignty and sets a dangerous global precedent.
The European proposal suggests frozen Russian assets should be used solely for the reconstruction of Ukraine, instead of partly going to U.S. investors.
Ukraine's army peacetime cap would be 800,000 soldiers, 200,000 more than in the U.S. draft. If Russia respects a sustainable peace, sanctions imposed since 2014 would be gradually eased.
The talks are focused on finding doable solutions to end the war. Amid the discussions, Trump rode back from his earlier deadline, opening the door for significant changes by saying the 28-point plan was not my final offer.
Following the discussions, the two nations confirmed they had drafted an updated and refined peace framework. Rubio was very optimistic about reaching an agreement in a very reasonable amount of time. The statement affirmed that any eventual deal would fully uphold Ukraine's sovereignty.
While talks progressed in Geneva, Russian forces staged a major drone attack on Kharkiv, killing 4 people and injuring others. The lack of durable peace settlements in the past, like Minsk I and II, allowed Moscow to buy time, regroup, and prepare for further aggression.
The original 28-point US-Russian plan was substantially revised in Geneva, resulting in a plan containing only 19 points. Ukrainian officials removed some of Russia's maximalist demands. Sensitive issues, such as NATO membership and territorial concessions, were placed in brackets for future discussion. Moscow states that the US plan requires further reworking, though many provisions appeared acceptable to Russia. Russia firmly rejects the European counterproposal, calling it completely unconstructive. Russia's hardline stance underscores that the US plan still falls short of some key Kremlin demands. European leaders insist that any peace settlement must strengthen, not weaken, our security and must not favor the aggressor. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz stressed that both Europe and Russia must be fully involved in the long-lasting process. Trump posts positively about the potential progress in peace talks. Don't believe it until you see it, but something good just may be happening. Ukrainian leadership faces enormous public pressure as citizens reject giving up any land. Ukraine needs concrete security commitments. Whether through NATO integration, bilateral defense agreements, or a structured European-led security framework, otherwise, the risk of renewed conflict would remain high. The war will continue to be shaped by whether Western policy aligns with Ukraine's goal of ensuring its sovereignty is no longer in question.